Mark always does a little flex for the camera first.
Okay.
So he likes to pretend to be buff.
I'm not buff. Don't worry. It's more of a joke.
We like to start off.
What's your podcast called, anyways?
FixFitness, guys.
Okay. Okay.
Because like what we did today, we took Jeff through some FixFit movements and stuff, but an assessment. But FixFitness was like the brand that we try to start, and then FixFitness guys, it's just us two. Anyway, it's expanded. We have a FixFitness girl, Brittany, and another dude, DJ, another coach. So, but yeah.
Who's Brittany?
Oh yeah, we don't talk about her anymore.
So what had happened was...
So just to introduce you first, Jeff.
Yeah.
We've been friends, and you've been my patient for some time now. But you're Jeff Mata, the Daredevil, right?
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
That's the fighter name, dude.
That's the only on the mats.
But tell our listeners basically what you're up to right now, what your
Little background, little history.
Okay, yeah. So again, yeah, my name is Jeff Mata. So I'm a blind athlete. That's why I'm wearing these sunglasses. I'm not wearing these to look cool or anything.
stunning on everybody.
Yeah, stunning on everybody. And how I got into it was after I actually lost my eyesight. I got into judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and really excelled in it. But before all of that, because I haven't always been blind, let me just give you guys a little background about myself. So I was born and raised in Poway, California.
Yeah.
Right?
That's my town now. Dude.
Yeah. So and you get a lot of patients from there, and
Yeah.
it's a little city here in San Diego, California, and pretty much I did what most kids did in San Diego. That, you know, obviously surfing was one thing I loved doing. I can remember those nice, hot, long summer days going down to La Jolla Shores or Del Mar and surfing the Pacific Coast, you know, and it was just such a fun time when I was growing up. And skateboarding was another thing I loved doing back in the day. Obviously,
it's a little harder now, I assume.
It's a little, yeah, oh yeah, you know, I don't think I can grind anymore, let alone get on a board and not just.
Eat
it right on my ass.
That's where the Daredevil days started, huh?
Exactly.
Extreme sports.
and then I got into more sports. I did team sports growing up, but really found my stride in individual sports. So I got into wrestling, and Poway is a huge city known for, or county known for wrestling, the Poway High Dynasty wrestling team.
Acting like I went there. I'm wearing a shirt right now from them.
I'm
acting like I wrestled there.
Yeah, so with the Hall of Famer Coach Wayne Branstetter, wrestled with him. Started when I was in middle school and then went into high school and did fairly well. And that right there was that basic foundation of myself being this athlete or really trying to push forward to getting above the rest of everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
did you do other sports besides wrestling?
In high school,
like, competitive at least.
Yeah, well, so growing up, you know, I did basketball, I played football, I even golfed. I can still golf, I think.
Yeah, dude.
You know, it's all in the form, right?
Yeah.
And I played Little League baseball. So, you know, my parents, they put us in a bunch of different sports, my brother and I, just to, you know, give us something to do, because, we weren't really, video games weren't really that big back then. You know, we cell phones. Who even had a cell phone?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Pager days.
At
best.
Exactly. We were calling on a payphone, and you had to memorize home phone numbers, or you had like a
prepaid cards for
exactly.
the 100 collect.
Exactly.
So, I can't. Maybe I know 1 or 2 phone numbers at best now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dude,
yeah.
Do you guys still remember phone numbers?
I remember my home number from like back
home
in the
numbers.
day.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
I know my house number that doesn't even exist.
Yeah,
the Poway day.
Me too.
And I still use that when I enter it, like at Ralph's or Vaughn's. You know, like for your club card. But that phone number doesn't even exist.
It's the only one you know now, though. It's
exactly.
Crazy.
So, anyways, yeah. So I did those team sports, but then in high school, once I got into like real wrestling, because I wrestled in middle school and did other things like basketball and stuff like that, but in high school it was all wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean,
You never touch anything else.
didn't touch anything else. We ate
Power
it.
wrestling's a
we
full-time
drank
job,
it.
man.
We slept it.
Especially at Poway, man.
Yeah. Even on the off season, we were wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then during season, we're wrestling. When we weren't wrestling, we were wrestling.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. And then I actually started getting into boxing my senior year of high school. And that's why I didn't continue into wrestling, into college, because I started boxing and really got into being able to put on some gloves, hit the bag, spar, and...
This is like the peak of MMA starting up too, huh? UFC.
Yeah, it was like 2000.
Yeah.
2000,
Yeah.
the year 2000. So MMA was starting to peak up.
Is that the Tito and Randy Couture days?
Yeah.
2003 is when it really came
Matt
out.
Hughes and...
Mm-hmm.
Even before that.
Yeah, I think it's before.
Because I remember we would have to buy the UFC VHS tapes.
Yeah,
Like they didn't even show it on
Pay-per-view.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's like Mark Coleman days and stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
2003 was like
Back.
Tito and
Yeah,
Chuck.
yeah. So, I got into boxing and stuff, and I was really starting to see myself excel in that realm,
Yeah.
and just really started hitting it really hard and trying to take different smoker fights here and there and stuff, and it was fun. It was fun. I was
So you were trying to go pro at that
I was
point?
trying to go pro.
Okay.
Yes, I was. That was the end goal. Like
what
any other.
did you wrestle at? What body weight? Just to
It's funny.
Contest.
It's funny. My freshman year, I was a 152 pounder,
okay.
and then sophomore year still the same. Junior year, I started cutting
Yeah.
to like 145, and then my senior year, for some reason, I wrestled at 140.
Ooh.
So I went backwards, which is weird,
Yeah.
And
Because you had to also? Because
yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of studs in from 150, like in that little threshold right there, from 140 to 160.
Yeah.
Maybe just because of the normal distribution of young adults at that time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That was like
where all the hitters were.
All the hit exactly.
That's always. I think that's still pretty popular weight class. That's why
150?
140 kids will drop down
Yeah.
to unhealthy weight levels because of the fact that there's just so much competition at the 150 range. Because that's pretty average for a kid of how tall are you?
Right.
Like 5'7"?
Yeah, I was 5'8",
5'7", 5'8" range. Like you're gonna be 150 if you're an average kid, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't obviously. It didn't really matter cutting down that much because I had the weight to cut.
Yeah. That's
I was
true,
always a chubby kid.
Gotcha. That Filipino food.
Exactly.
All the deep fried pork.
All the deep fried pork, the rice, and more rice, and then some more meat. You know what I mean?
That's the ticket. That's how you get big.
Yeah.
But so going back to what I was doing with the boxing, so I was training. I mean, maybe 5-6 times a week, sometimes twice a day. And your body just takes a toll.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just really, really wanting it that bad and not really paying attention to my body.
Mm-hmm.
And from the boxing training, and then I got this inflammation in my eye called uveitis.
Mm-hmm.
So April 18, 2008, I got a retinal detachment in my left eye just from the boxing training and the trauma from the blows and all the different training that I was doing, and coupled with that inflammation. And then my right eye, it followed after, and I eventually lost all sight and became totally blind.
And is that a progression, the detachment?
It was a progression. But when I say progression,
right,
it took the years of all that training.
Yeah.
And then when the retinal detachment hit, it was as if I only saw half of a screen.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. And then
in one eye or both?
In one eye, and then it peeled through.
Yeah. Because they teach us that in school, and then you'll hear a boxer talk about it, but it almost seems like you just when they describe it out loud, or if someone's talking about it, it sounds like it just happens from one hit. But it's that's not the way. It could.
It could though.
But for you, it didn't. Right?
For me, it did. It was the years of
Gotcha.
of training and competing and all
Right,
that stuff,
right.
and because you hear of, I mean, look at Sugar Ray Leonard, you know,
Right,
when
yeah.
he fought and he got that retinal detachment when he was.
It was from a fight, right?
Yeah,
Like
I think
one
he was
fight.
fighting Macho Camacho,
Mhm.
I think, and then he had to go in and get his retina attached. And
Yeah. Michael Bisping right now too.
right, and even you hear of like even basketball players
Yeah.
having retinal detachments,
Mhm.
and it's just getting a blow to the eye.
And they have jumping too.
Yeah,
Jumping can do it.
exactly. And think of your eyeball, right? Or your retina and the back of your eye as two sheets of paper, right?
Mhm.
And you have your retina and then the back of your eye, and it's just flat together,
Mhm.
and it's very bendable and flexible.
Mhm.
Well, mine, just from being shooken, it just crumpled up like a piece of paper.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And all the little folds and tears that you see
Yeah.
in a crumpled piece of paper, that was all scar tissue.
Oh wow.
You know,
Mhm.
and the funny thing is, I guess it's not too funny. I did get it fixed once.
I was gonna ask, did you ever get it reattached?
I got it reattached, and it was good to go. But I kept on training,
Mm.
and they said you should stop because you may go blind. But you know, you're super young, dumb, and full of fun.
Yeah, right. I was like, you're
And
gonna take
he's like,
sound
"No."
advice.
Yeah, you know, you're like, no, I'm gonna be pro. I know I'm gonna get there. You know, and then all of a sudden, like, wham! It happened again, and I was like, oh, don't worry, I can get reattached. So that was mindset.
Gotcha.
You know, that was the mindset. I can get reattached. So you go in and get another one, another operation, and because the scar tissue was so bad, it kept ripping the retina back off.
Oh Jesus.
So I went to 3 or 4 different specialists, and all of them, other than the person that operated my eye, said do not do any more surgeries because you could permanently damage your eye. And let's say, you know, later in the future with this rapid technology for blindness and visual impairments, and they have some sort of new technology that could help, you may damage your eye to where you won't be able to use it because
Gotcha.
the optic nerve is still working.
Right.
But you obviously need your retina because that's your vision, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they always say with those new phones, the retina display,
Yeah.
that's what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I didn't touch it, and I've been blind now for 11 years now.
Yeah.
Going on 12, 2008. So, but you know, I'm doing a lot more things than I had a had sight, which is crazy. And
I know.
people would say, "Oh my God, Jeff, how do you do that?" I mean, can you imagine going into the doctor's office and hearing the news that you're not going to be able to see again? I mean, that's devastating to anybody.
Yeah. What did it do to you immediately, competitively for your sport? Like, obviously you stopped boxing.
Yeah.
But were you like, oh, now I'm going to do judo? Like that didn't happen overnight.
No. I mean, I can walk you through it. So I remember going into the doctor's office. This is after everything went to crap, you know. And I was sitting in the waiting room, just kind of waiting. And honestly, it felt like an eternity, right? I'm sure I was there for probably 15 minutes or so, waiting to get called in the back. And the nurse comes in the waiting room and asks me to come up. I grab her shoulder, and she walks me into the back room, one of the examination rooms. And she goes, "All right, Mr. Mata, go ahead and sit down." So I'm reaching for the seat, this old steel, you know, ophthalmologist seat with the leather cushions, and I turn around and I sit down, and you could hear just the leather deflating, you know, as I sit down, and I put my arms on those really steel cold arms, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, man, what's gonna go on?
Mm-hmm.
And sitting there, all of a sudden your monkey mind starts to play with you.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, just 1,000 thoughts started flooding my head, and I couldn't even wrap my mind around anything. And I was just trying to sit patiently, you know, waiting for the doctor to come in, and I could hear some footsteps coming up. I hear my chart come out of that little container that's outside the door, and I can hear some papers just kind of flushing around. And then he knocks, opens it up, and I'm sitting there not seeing anything, just a little bit of maybe light perception, right? And I could hear like the soles of his feet just walking on that cold, lonely tile, and him breathing, looking at me. He hasn't said anything just yet, and he grabs his little roller chair, and I can hear the wheels kind of roll up in front of me, and he sits on it and looks straight at me, kind of looks at my eyes, and I hear him just take this deep breath, just and he says to me, Mr. Mata, I'm sorry to inform you, but you're not going to be able to see again. There just aren't any surgeries that will be able to fix your sight.
Damn, dude. It's gnarly.
Yeah.
And it was as if I just got like a left hook straight to the body, you know? And
how old are you?
I was 26 at that time. 26 years old. I mean, 26 years old of being this free living, cheerful kid, growing up, doing athletic sports, riding motorcycles, surfing, skateboarding, doing all that stuff. And then even into my working days of successful in real estate, selling residential real estate and mortgages, and you thought you had it all figured out, buying your first house when you're 21 years old, and you have it all. You have this quote unquote American dream, and you thought you had it all figured out. And at that moment, when I heard those two lines, all of a sudden, the world that I knew was stripped away from me. Yeah. It was crushed. Everything was falling apart. I felt my throat closing up. My heart rate was just going up, but my heart dropped to my stomach. Again, those thoughts that started planting in my head were just so horrible. All of a sudden, you're thinking to yourself, man, I can't do anything anymore. I'm not going to be able to do anything. And you hear it over and over, Jeff, you're not going to be able to see it again. So give up. Jeff, you can't work anymore. You can't even afford your house. So give up. Jeff, no one's going to want to be with you. You can't even see. Give up. So all of a sudden, this deep depression started haunting me and actually taking over and consuming my every moment in life now. And all of a sudden, that cheerfulness that I was talking about, that happy-go-lucky, assertive, punctual...
That's the Jeff we know now, though.
Yeah. So well, there was a transformation,
dude.
And
it's crazy.
But that was me to my core. Right. You know what I mean? My foundation. And all of a sudden, because you've been so well versed in the 26 years of life that you existed, and again, we use 90% of our senses through our sight. Imagine that just taken away. What do you do?
Yeah, what do they at the end of that conversation, do they go, we're going to point you towards some support groups, give you some occupational therapy, teach you how to live like this, or is it like figure it out?
It's kind of a gray area for them because they're not well informed with the resources.
Right, exactly.
Especially,
that's what my first guess would be that.
Yeah, because a doctor, you come in, he's
like, we can't operate.
So we can't operate. So see ya.
Right. Yeah.
You have no more value to us because you're not going to pay us for anything else. And again, they're not informed with where to push people out.
I bring that up because a big theme of this podcast is the medical system failing people. Right. Our world being physical therapy, but we've had episodes on anxiety, depression, and it's like, for your case, it's like you could rip up your knee and it can't get sewn up much longer, and they tell you your athletic career is over, but you don't need your knee for, like you were saying, to drive right?
Right.
So it's like you can drive with your right knee. It's fine. Your left knee's gone, whatever.
Right.
But it's like now it's like the same kind of thing, right? Like
yeah, I can't drive. I'm not gonna get too far.
No, I mean like the doctor's like, dude, hey, we can't operate on you, so but they don't at least point you in a direction of like, here's what you do next. Right. It's just like you're on your own.
Right. They don't give you a step by step. All right, step 1, you need to do this. Step 2, you need to do this. Damn. I think the only thing I can remember was they said to check out the San Diego Center for the Blind. Mm-hmm. But that's just one of the many resources that are out there, Mm-hmm. And I wasn't ready, though. I wasn't ready to accept the loss of my sight. I wasn't ready to accept the quote-unquote disability, which now I don't even feel it's a disability.
Right.
It actually, I'm able to do more things now, other than drive. Like I said, right? That's why I'm waiting for Google to get the self-driving cars out, because once those are on, I'm out.
Yeah, dude.
I'm on the road again.
I'm ready to go.
I'm on the road again.
Jeff's the reason I brought up the community thing too is he's tagged me in posts before, and like I've seen other blind people comment things and jokes with each other and stuff. I'm like, and then I went to that guy's page. Some guy, I think he had like blind in his Facebook name even. Like
Blind Guy Chris.
Yeah, see, Blind Guy Chris.
Yeah,
and he was like joking with Jeff about something, and I was like, and I went on there, and there's like he had a bunch of friends that were blind on there. I was like, Jeff's got to like he's got to have his own little community.
Yeah. So I went to the San Diego Center for the Blind, met a couple of different people there, and then eventually went to this live-in program up in LA. It was the Junior Blind of America, called the Davidson program. And what they taught you was they had four core concepts, right? So number 1 was assistive technology, which I use the iPhone and the iWatch, all that stuff, Apple products, but I can also use Microsoft products because they have these software programs called screen readers. Mm-hmm. And what screen readers do is essentially what a visual person or sighted person could see, I'm listening to. So I can hear what is on the screen and then do different functionalities or hot stroke keystrokes or something like that, or different gestures to interact with stuff. So I can send out emails, I can post things on Facebook or Instagram or social media. I can send out text
Your
messages.
texts are better written out than mine, dude.
Right.
No joke.
Maybe you should download it.
I know. Shit.
Well, no, if you have an iPhone, it's there. It's there.
The talk to text.
Yeah, talk to text.
I never use it.
Yeah, exactly.
I write out like crap. Yeah.
There's always autocorrect. But then you have something.
Here's the thing, dude. I got all my senses and I'm just lazy, right? And then Jeff's like, talk to text is clear, Chris. He's punctual. He's earlier than me today, so it's like, freaking excuse to
get your shit together.
Yeah, I know. That's why Jeff's an inspiration, though, and that's why he's gonna get to later, like what kind of talks he's doing now. Yeah. My school, Cal State San Marcos, we're both alum. Has a freaking mural of him on their wall. I still got to go see it, man. I haven't been on campus since I graduated, but
crazy, dude.
It's a huge mural of him. It's so dope.
Everyone's like, I saw you in the staircase. I said, nah, that wasn't me, man. They're, no, it was you. You had the sunglasses on. You even had the cane and stuff. I was like, nah, that wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It's got to be some other dude.
It's got to be some other dude.
Especially with the tats on his arm. That's not me.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, going back to that whole transitional period, it was this depression that really stripped me away from 5 years of my life, because I went through it for about 6 years. Yeah,
it's a long time.
It was hell.
Yeah,
it was everything that you could think of that would go wrong in your life, and then multiply that by 10.
Wow. Yeah. What got you out of it then?
So I went to that program. Mm-hmm. You remember I was telling you guys about that resource program?
Yeah.
Where again, we learn assistive technology. We learn independent living skills. So they had a mock apartment where they would teach you how to,
that's dope.
Clean, do laundry, cook, bake, sew. I mean, like all that stuff. You know what I mean? And then they also had orientation mobility, which is being able to travel by yourself with a white cane or a dog. I use a white cane.
Mm-hmm.
Dog's just way too much responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to navigate through different buildings or get on bus rides. I mean, I remember when I first started training in jiu-jitsu, and we'll get to that later, I remember riding the bus, and it took me 2.5 hours
Wow.
to get to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2.5 hours to get back. So 5 hours of my day was on public transportation. It was just nuts, you know?
Why was it so like too?
It was so far. It was far away. So I was trained up in San Marcos, which is maybe like what, a 25-minute drive or so.
Yeah. But on the bus, it takes.
But on the bus, it just takes
All
forever.
the stops. And,
Got it.
All the stops, and then you have to transfer to this bus. I literally had to take, let's see, 3 buses and a train, and then walk 5 city blocks.
Jeez.
Just to train jiu-jitsu.
Just to train
an hour.
jiu-jitsu and judo for an hour. Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Yeah. But so that'll be later.
Yeah.
That'll be later.
Yeah.
And then so that's orientation, mobility, and then Braille.
Mm-hmm.
And Braille was, I want to say, one of the hardest things I've ever learned in my life. But I learned it in about 4 months.
Whoa.
And funny story, every time I would get out of my Braille classes, I'd always have this headache. Huge headache, but it was on the right side of my head. Like the right side of my brain.
Huh.
Never the left.
Whoa.
And I asked my Braille teacher, I said, is this normal, And it's like, oh yeah, well you're feeling in that creative side.
Whoa.
You're not using I think the left, I forgot what the left side does.
I think left's creative, and then right is like your senses.
Okay.
That makes sense because the right senses.
I'm not a
That's why
psychologist.
That's why your right is.
The right was hurting.
Because it's the senses that you're feeling and have
Yeah.
to use it.
So I was constantly trying to feel these little bumps and then interpret it in my head. And every time I would get out, I would just have this huge headache on the right side of my brain. And I'd always have to massage it. But
That's crazy.
yeah, it was nuts.
You don't never think about those things.
No,
I've been in
no.
school like 7 years of post, graduate from high school, and I'm like, no one's had that,
Right.
But it's like
you can have a headache, like you know what I mean?
No one's got that much information in 4 months like you.
Right,
You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
Required
Or
that.
isolated stimulus, right? Because
Yeah.
you only use the right side.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's intense, probably.
It's
It
freaking
really
intense.
was.
And you're learning it for life, right? Like,
Yeah.
I got to know this for my life, rather than
It's not just to pass the class. To
Yeah.
fake
No.
it.
Exactly. So you had to really put yourself in there and really put in the work.
How much do you use of Braille now that we have technology? You know what I'm saying?
It's very, very, very. I mean, I get my bank statements in Braille. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so there's
still Braille out there.
Yeah, but everything's all technology with the phone now,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah. With technology nowadays, it just makes it that much more faster.
Yeah.
Because so I got I graduated from Cal State San Marcos in December of 2018.
go Cougs.
And
We don't have any sports. I just like to say.
right.
Last
Well, they
year,
have basketball now.
Oh yeah, we got
They have basketball.
maybe
I think
D2.
they have-
It's D2 or 3 now, I think.
They're getting up there. Go
Go get them.
But I was using a lot of my technology to do the tests, to read the case studies or textbooks that they had us reading for assigned readings and stuff. And nowadays too, everyone's doing a lot of looking into podcasts.
Yeah.
And
That's why we're here.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, that's the new information these days. I was having a conversation with Ian on the way here, and I said, "Yeah, I don't even listen to radio anymore." Or
It's the
let alone
new
watch
Joe
TV.
Rogan talks about. It's like the new TV.
Right,
But
right.
the good thing about it is, one, you can pause and play when you want, take it with you, you can download it, and there's no censoring.
Right.
So that's like the new age, right? Like back then, you can't put things on TV shows
That's
because
what I
they're
said.
censored.
Yeah, I was like, my wife and I
Podcasts
will
is
listen
uncensored.
while we're doing tasks. Like, she's listening to hers and listening to mine. It's like, I was like, man, there's not even a TV on in this house anymore. Like it's pretty rare. It's only for sports or something live, but
Right.
It's definitely starting to probably take over in terms of what people consume, right? Recreationally too.
so it sounds like Jeff's starting a podcast.
I don't
It's
know.
been
I
dropped
mean,
here for a second.
so since I've been speaking, so I obviously I do motivational speaking and stuff like that. I'll do a shameless tag. You
Oh,
check me
do
up
it,
on
man.
www.motivation.com. That's MATAVATION.
Not Motivision.
Not motivation, motivation. I'm just trying to motivate people, you know.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I like that hashtag. They'll throw that hashtag out. Motivation.
Yeah, we'll throw that in the show notes for sure.
I got a question. During the 5 years of that depression, learning how to, live life being blind, were you doing any type of working out or sports at all through the 5 years?
No, man.
Zero?
No.
Damn.
Honestly,
going from being that active, like your life is.
yeah,
I live an active life,
crazy.
and it's like
That'd be stripped away.
Yeah, and then to not do any of it for 5 years, holy crap.
So I started looking into fulfilling this emptiness or this void in my heart with all the wrong things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it was like heavy drinking. I would drink all the time just to numb myself and try to get my mind off of things. And then I got into drugs and excessive partying and all this stuff. And again, just trying to numb myself.
Yeah.
Because those thoughts that I had and feeling bad about myself and all that, just low self-confidence, all that stuff, it just really takes a toll on your body. And I was at my heaviest. I mean,
I was just going to ask that. How heavy were you?
I was about...
Because you're not working out and drinking? Oh,
yeah,
man.
I was like 228, almost
Damn.
230.
You gotta
5'8".
get pictures out, bro.
Dude, it was yeah,
There's gotta
it
be
was
a picture
I mean,
somewhere.
I
Damn.
was fat.
Wow.
And I'm not talking about PHAT, I'm talking about fat.
220.
228.
5'8". 5'8" is a small.
Yeah,
I can't even
I mean,
picture it, dude.
yeah, 228. It was a workout to try to get my shoes on.
Damn,
you know what I mean?
bro.
Or socks on.
I gained weight, and I'm about 5'8", and then
Yeah.
I look so much thicker, and I went from 170 to like 180s, right?
Yeah, yeah.
High maybe 190s, but
Yeah.
220.
Dude,
oh my
228.
gosh.
228. I was prego.
You're
had
like
the chins.
8 months.
Yeah, I was 8 months
pregnant.
in, with carne asada burritos and
There we go.
and
Damn,
pho.
220, bro. That's
Yeah.
pretty.
So right now I'm about $160.
Yeah.
right?
Wow, dude.
And I and that's even light. You know what I mean? So I took another person off of me. You know what I mean?
For
Seriously.
sure, man. What got you? So you didn't do anything. You're in
I was
depression,
just
drinking, doing
depression,
all the
drinking,
wrong stuff.
Doing all the wrong stuff.
Where was the turn,
The turn?
the catalyst for the turn, or what started you back into the fitness world or the sport world? Like, how'd you get out of that? Because when you're deep into depression and we talk about mental health and stuff, and then when you look into like doing things like drugs or alcohol, it's so hard to get out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what was your why to really?
There was a few. So the first thing is going through those programs. I was trying to just figure myself out. You know what I mean? And I wasn't really religious or spiritual at the time. And I would listen to a couple Bible studies that they have every week. And then my parents would ask me to come in, and I was just very standoffish at the thought of looking into a higher power.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can honestly say that saved my life. This whole spiritual awakening, this moment of God speaking to me through a pastor and through the experiences that I was going through, and being able to give myself up, because I'm a Christian. I'm a believer in Christ. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel that was the push, that the edge that I needed, because all of a sudden, once I really asked for help in the way of bringing Jesus in my life,
Yeah.
all of a sudden things started to happen. All of a sudden, things that were hard for me or things that needed to be lined up were lining up, and I can't attest it to anything else.
Yep.
And that's where the fitness thing started coming into play as well, because now all of a sudden I found this new passion in judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, because first of all, judo was a Paralympic sport for
that makes sense.
I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
And at that
Yeah, it was judo first.
yeah, at the
They don't have jiu-jitsu in the Olympics.
no.
They should, but anyways.
You know what it is it's just you know what it is? It's just not. It's not like the action, especially at high level.
Yeah.
Because it's so technical, they want to see like boom, 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 power stuff. That's
point,
why they're
point
trying
stuff,
to,
right?
Yeah,
Like
that's why they're trying to take wrestling out. I was like, they're trying to take wrestling out.
That's
of
true
it?
too.
The one that founded the Olympics.
Yeah, I was like, that's so crazy.
And
right?
Roman started it with wrestling.
Yeah. So I got into that.
It was judo, right?
It was judo first,
and
and then jiu-jitsu afterwards.
Where did you start judo? Being a blind athlete, like where did you go? You know
I
what
went.
I mean?
Okay, so this is
just
crazy,
like a buddy, you know, or
crazy story. So it was maybe about a year or so after I graduated from that program, and I was starting to get bored of my life, and I was like, dude, I need to do something, you know? I need to find something to do. And so the first thing was I actually registered with the Department of Rehabilitation for vocational training for education. And from there, I was able to enroll in classes, and I told myself, if I'm going back to school, I need to stop smoking pot, I need to stop snorting lines of cocaine, I need to stop drinking alcohol, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
I
not
gotta
going to be counterproductive.
Counterproductive. If I'm going to do it, I got to go 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that right there was the focal point of like a lifestyle change, right?
Got it.
And I started going to school. And then I started saying, well, I want to get back into something that has to do with fitness. And then I remember a lot of the people saying, oh, you know, you'd be great in judo. You used to wrestle, you used to box. You got the body type for it, you know. And I said, well, all right. So I opened up my computer one day. This is about a year or so after I got, or maybe 2 years, because it was in 2012.
Okay.
I started typing in judo programs near me in Poway. And one school came up. I forgot what the brothers' names were.
Chris and Nick.
Okay. Yeah.
SDA.
The brothers, right?
Yeah, I went there when I was younger, and
Okay, so
the one it's SDKA or something.
I think they were over by the discount time.
Yeah. It's Chris and Nick.
So I called them up, or I filled out this form online. It was an information form, and then I got a call back, and I started talking to him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, we had a judo program and this and that, and yeah, we do this. We have this karate thing, and you know." And he was telling me all the different martial arts that they were doing, and I go, "Okay, cool. So, how does the judo program work? Because you know, I'm a blind person," and he goes, "Oh, you're blind? Oh, well, yeah, maybe you'd want to go to this other school."
Gotcha.
So
they're like, "Whoa, you're blind."
Oh man! So I was kind of discouraged. Like, wow, this person's pushing me away to go to this other school. You know what I mean? And then I called around, and again, I wasn't really getting much. What's the word I'm looking for? Like
acceptance or
acceptance,
something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, come on in, we got you.
Right. Because I think the stigma of this blindness, which again I speak about too, it really throws people off. Because when you hear of a blind person, before you even met me, what would you think? You know what I mean? Just right off the bat, if someone said, "Describe to me a blind person,"
they like need a lot of help, you know, or they're kind of like a liability or whatever. Like they're gonna run into something, fall, and
right.
Yeah, it's one like they're
like
just,
we worked out today at the gym. It was
right.
like, how are we going to navigate Jeff throughout the gym without, you know?
Right.
So then, if there's an instructor going like, how am I going to teach this guy judo?
I think it's
is he just going to listen to me. Like,
I think it's just, like number one, if it's coming in to you for your service, I guess it's like it's a lot of work. Because you're like, do I have to like meet him at how do there's so many questions. How do I accommodate it? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, okay. So you guys got it. You guys hit it right on the nail. So I'm guessing, and I'm just guessing that that's what was going through their head. So they're kind of pushing me away to another gym that actually had a guy, Sensei Walter Dean, who's in the Hall of Fame. He actually worked with the Paralympic team at Colorado Springs for the visually impaired judo team there, and that was San Diego Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy that's run by Paulo Fernando up in San Marcos. So that's why you went there.
Exactly.
So I called there, And Paula said, "Yeah, come in, check it out." So
The first guy to be
You're like, finally.
yeah, so I said,
I'll take 6 buses to get there.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I went up there,
Yeah.
spoke to him, and he said, "Yeah, let's do it. If you're willing to come up, I'm willing to train." And I said, "Let's do it." And
You're like, you were like, that's out there, Like,
yeah.
You just got to find the right community.
Exactly. So I went up there and really found a home there. It was that was my home gym, and it was very, very tight knit. It was a family based gym, a lot of families. I mean, honestly, I think he has the biggest jiu-jitsu gym in San Diego, like over 600 members. I mean, huge facility. I think
I've read about it or saw it online.
The mat space is like,
I think it's
like a house, like 3,000 square feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got competitive in judo with him, right?
Yeah. I got competitive in judo, and I actually met one of my really good buddies, Dylan Trotter. He's actually
Shout
also
out Dylan Trotter.
Yeah. He's also from Poway too. He wrestled too there, and his dad, Jeff Trotter, also wrestled in
Beast.
Poway in the 80s.
Shout out
Wow.
Jeff Trotter.
It was hilarious.
Jeff
You know what I mean?
Trotter's
Bloodline.
Yeah, the bloodline, exactly. But
Good
the funny
guys.
thing is he's doing judo forever. So he was 18 at the time, and he goes, "Hey, bro, I know you like judo, but dude, you're gonna fall in love with jiu-jitsu. Just trust me."
The wrestler.
He was the guy.
Yeah, he was the guy. And then he actually took me under his wing, and that's how I really progressed and accelerated in my training, because number one, he had a judo foundation as a kid, so everything was so fluid for him. Everything was so automatic, and muscle memory. And number two, he was this highly leveled competitive guy and one of the higher belts at that gym.
Yeah.
And again, he was young.
That was only a few years ago, right? Like where you did the transition to jiu-jitsu, like full time, or?
Yeah, so I started doing judo, right? And then we had judo once a week, but we had jiu-jitsu 4 or 5 times a week, right? Because nobody likes, especially
getting thrown
men,
5 days a week.
getting thrown on their back. You know what I mean?
I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like nobody does. Not a grown ass man never likes to get thrown on their backs. So I started training and started really accelerating in the movements of it, the drilling of it, and then I think because I wrestled, the transition of grappling was made it that much easier. And I think I trained, so I started in October 2012, and I did my first, so I actually competed in jiu-jitsu before judo. I did my first jiu-jitsu competition January the next year in 2013.
So about a year of training and then your first comp, or?
No, so from October.
Oh, even less.
Yeah, October,
like 5 months.
November, December,
3 months?
January. Like 4
months?
4 months.
Shit.
Or just shy of 4 months, right? Did the NABJJF All Americas as a white belt. I was a white belt middleweight, so I was 181 with the gi on.
That's a big weight class for.
It's huge, and I'm 5'8", so everybody was like a foot, maybe like a head taller than me, like 6'2" or something.
And
right?
this was just an open jiu-jitsu comp, not like blind athletes.
Yeah, it was all sided athletes, all able-bodied athletes.
Wow.
So it wasn't this closed.
Yeah.
I'm only fighting blind athletes. No. It was all sided athletes, and I went in there, and I took second place, and I was like, oh my god, this is the thing that I was looking for. This is the adrenaline that
you're back to doing something that you can excel in.
Yeah, when I was competing in wrestling, when you stepped on the mat and you got your hand raised, that adrenaline pumping, or when I stepped in the ring and boxed, the adrenaline pumping, and either win or lose, you just had that pump.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you felt so alive. You felt so strengthened.
Yeah.
And I took second place, and I was bit by the bug. I told myself, I need to keep doing this. I need to keep getting better. I need to keep training, and I want to check it again in a few months at the Pan Americans, right? At the IBJJF
few months.
Pan Ams, right? So
small tournament, the Pan Ams. Let's see what the Pan Ams are like.
Right. So I trained.
That's nuts.
I trained, and again it was with Dylan, and I always trained with him. He was a purple belt at the time, and I was a white belt, and I just kept on going, went to the Pan Ams, saw the guy that I lost to in the finals in the bullpen, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" I was like, "Hey, what's up? I'll see you in the finals." You know, we would joke around like that and stuff. And I won all the way up to the quarterfinals, lost by an advantage, dude. An advantage.
Yeah, not
what
even
is
a point.
that?
Yeah.
Not even a point.
Yeah.
A make believe.
Still
point.
losing sleep over it. Like.
Oh, and I remember his name. His name was Max Bookwell, and he's the guy. He won it. I lost to the. So I was on the right side of the bracket. That was the match I needed to win.
Then it would have been good.
And I would have been.
That's what individual sports does too, man.
It's crazy. And Gracie Mag did a article on me that day, and I told him, I said, "Hey, you're not gonna. This is not the last time you're gonna see me. You're gonna see me again. I'm not over yet, you know." And and I've been competing ever since.
I brought it up one time, I think, in a treatment with you. Have you ever had somebody? Because when you're wrestling somebody able-bodied, you guys have to. The stipulation is you have to stay in contact, or is that a stipulation?
No, not necessarily. It depends on what federation.
Because in high school wrestling, it was you had to have
like a hand in hand. Right?
Hand in hand,
yeah.
But in jiu-jitsu, you were telling me there's not that. Have you ever had a guy
like run around your back,
freaking shoot in on an ankle
all the time, dude?
God,
all
dude.
the time.
Wow.
So
competition will bring
the worst out of it. Yeah. Any edge that someone could get, they'll do, and that's why I started training to be down by 2 points because of the initial takedown.
Shit,
you're down by
nuts.
2. You know what I mean?
Wow. Start in a -2 every match.
I was always starting at a -2, but the thing is that now, because I've gotten to a point where I could defend that.
Yeah. But at first you were like, what?
At first, yeah.
Take me down. We'll start from here.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly. Or I would try to take him down myself.
Yeah.
I would just kind of shoot blindly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy. Just
wow.
Shoot,
there's nothing there.
Exactly. Or feel and like my reflexes are just a lot more faster. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I would just touch and just grab, but with dear life on any cloth, and then go for some.
So this is gi though, right? So not no gi.
Yeah.
Okay.
No gi's
for
worse,
no gi, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Because you're slipping and sliding. You know what I mean? And actually at No-Gi Worlds last year, that's kind of.
So you also do no gi.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also
That's where you'll get especially at higher belt now. What belt are you now?
I'm a brown belt now. So.
Yeah. So now you're really going to get the guys that are like.
Any edge,
any
trick in the book, and
right.
That's crazy, dude.
But it's
because your senses are getting heightened, right? You're saying like so, because if you lost 90% of your senses in vision, you'll gain other work. That's why
exactly. So
we're talking about like your.
So 85% of it actually goes to your hearing, and then the 15% gets evenly distributed through your sense of touch, smell, taste.
Oh wow! So the hearing is
hearing's like, so I'm seeing with my ears.
Dude, that's crazy.
Got it.
And that's why in jiu-jitsu, holy shit, you're like your reflexes. I mean, jiu-jitsu is a game of reflexes and push, pull, and
Is judo easier?
No, it's harder.
It's harder.
Yeah, because
I would assume it's more of a clinch
explosive.
type of.
It's so explosive.
That's true.
But
you're more connected, aren't you?
Yeah. You're connected.
So no one could do judo, like a trick shot on you, being 3 feet out.
In judo, we're actually allowed to, for able-bodied tournaments, we're actually able to get just the regular general grips.
Got it.
One lapel, one sleeve.
Okay.
And if we break off, they'll stop the match, and then they'll let us get grips again.
It's like
but they get grips too. But in jiu-jitsu, they don't have that.
Did you do a jiu-jitsu comp? I'm sorry, a judo comp, and if so, when was that in the timeline?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
you did
I was doing jiu-jitsu
4 months, and you did your first jiu-jitsu. Then you went to Pan Am's.
To Pan Am's, did really well there, and then I kept on doing jiu-jitsu, but I was still training judo, and then the head coordinator that does recruitment for the USA Vision Player Judo team, they contacted my sensei, Paulo Fernando, and said, "Hey, do you think that Jeff Mata would be interested in judo? We'll fly him out here to train. We're going to do a camp." So Paulo came up to me and said, "Hey, you're not going to believe this. So-and-so was reaching out to me and they want to fly you out there. And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot, because judo really wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
So I fly out to Denver, Colorado, meet up with one of the coaches. This guy Scott Moore. He was a ex Paralympian. He took gold in, I think it was in China.
Wow.
But they bring in all these different athletes all across the states, right? So I remember we had a guy from Hawaii. We had another dude from Ohio. We had another guy come from Chicago. So and what they do is they just look at people that either have lost their sight or have some sort of visual impairment, or that are athletes like in like football players or wrestlers or something like that just lost their sight or something. And that's how they do their recruitment, or even powerlifters. I have even gone into judo, and they'll bring all these guys up to Denver and train, and also we would train at the OTC in Colorado Springs, right? And we would go through these camps, and then they would do this whole personal evaluation on everybody and kind of see who would be a good fit. So I went to that camp, and I was actually doing good. I was just choking people out and stuff because
your foundation.
It was my foundation. It was newaza, they call it, on the ground. So I was just choking people out and stuff, and still throwing people, but they wanted me to come back, and then I said, all right, I'll come back. And then my first judo competition, what was it? It was the IPSA World Cup. So the International Blind Association World Cup. It was in Hungary.
It sounds like a big competition.
Yeah, it was a huge competition.
It's not like some random dojo or school or academy running it.
Right.
Worlds. We're going to worlds.
We're going to worlds, exactly.
Just get
so
thrown into it.
I had to get a passport. I had to get all this stuff. I had to fundraise for the trip.
And how long ago after you started jiu-jitsu was this?
The
worlds?
2014.
2 years?
Yeah.
2 years about?
No, like 2014. So I started in October 2012. So it had to been maybe like a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like 2 years of training.
Yeah.
Right. But now we're competing against countries where they've been training since they're freaking like kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got my ass. I'll be honest.
You
dude.
didn't get second
there?
there?
I got my ass beat, dude. I mean, international competition is totally different, especially when the country's paying.
Yeah.
Paying for their for every move. Whereas, and I'm not dogging USA Judo or anything like that, but we had to.
No, it's different in the U.S. Like in China, like you're born into gymnastics. Like they like pick the babies of like that. You're a gymnast, and like they start you from.
Yeah. So I thought I was ready.
Reality.
I had the mental toughness and the visualization that I was gonna win.
Yeah.
So I get Russia in the first round.
You get Drago in the first
round.
round.
Exactly. And this is my first judo competition. I don't know what to expect. You know what I mean? And right off the bat, he does a sasai, which is like an ashi. It's like a foot trip.
Okay.
But they trip up by the shin, as opposed to the ankle. And I can.
Because they're that strong. Jeez.
Yeah, I remember flipping in the air. and my feet going over my head.
I remember being upside down.
I was upside down. It was as if I was in this roller coaster ride.
Yep.
And flipping through, but the thing is if you don't land on your back or your side, there's no points. So if you land on your stomach, you're fine. You know what I mean? So I literally did an alligator roll in the air, dropped down, but he dropped. I landed on top of him. And now he was on his stomach, and I was trying to turn him to pin him, but nothing happened, right? So they stand us back up, and again with judo, they like a lot of action. So on the ground, you're only on there for maybe about 3 to 7 seconds, and then if there's
crazy.
Yeah, if there's no progression, they'll stand you back up. So again, we get grips again, and I remember in the video, I couldn't hear anything, you know what I mean? But in the video, I hear them saying, "Watch his Sasai, watch his Sasai." He's an Ashi guy. He's an Ashi guy, which Ashi means trip in Japanese, right? And again, we go. I'm pulling, and boom.
Upside down again.
Upside down again.
Jeez.
And I'm like, oh no, this is not good. And he, boom, lands ippon. Ippon means it's one point. If you have an ippon, it doesn't matter how long it was, the match is over.
Oh, shit.
Right. So
he did the full takedown, landed it, and you're done.
And you're done, exactly. So boom.
Did it hurt? Or is just more of a...
It was shocking. It was shocking.
How easily you got just...
It was shocking how easily I just got swept off my feet.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, we did a whole episode on the mindset of an athlete.
Right.
And this is like... sounds like very parallel pathway of like being a wrestler since like junior year, being an extreme sport athlete too, right? With all the drills. Do you think that foundation is what helped you overcome all that training now with a disability and like competing at a high level? It just transitions super quick, right? You just needed the right support system around you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you say all that foundation, right?
Yeah.
We're creating these pathways in our brain, right? And the more you do it, the deeper the grooves are of that pathway. Mm-hmm. And then with the muscle memory of all those things,
yes, I
feel that you can get somebody, for example, if Michael Phelps, which he's just this huge specimen of an athlete, if he got into jiu-jitsu and he was a white belt, he would be totally different from just the regular guy coming in as a white belt.
Sure.
They're not both white belts.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So me going into jiu-jitsu and judo as a white belt, I wasn't your normal white belt because of the foundation of, again, being an athlete or even just being...
The work ethic.
Yeah,
too.
the work ethic. Exactly.
But transition that into school now, motivational speaking now, being a business entrepreneur.
It's the same work ethic.
Same work
different
ethic.
Medium, right? Like he's not, it might not be boxing.
Right,
but
exactly.
You know how to put in work. You know how to be disciplined or focused.
Yeah.
And it's that like, I'm going to do it.
It's the mindset. Yeah, the
mental toughness.
It's all the mindset. And a lot of the times, especially when I do really well in tournaments, mm-hmm. my mind is so free and my body just does it. It's I can't explain it. Like I'll visualize. So before I go into a tournament or a match, I'm visualizing the whole thing. It's kind of like what Dan Gable used to do, right? Mm-hmm. He used to visualize how his match would go, anything that could happen, what he would do, his response, his reaction to the action. I do that, and it just plays over and over in my head. And every time I won a tournament, that's exactly what would happen. The match would go exactly how I planned it. Even the people that I chose in the brackets, those would be the people that I would have to play.
That's crazy.
Or I'd have to compete against.
Yeah.
And again, my mind, I'll just throw my headphones on and I'll just let my mind kind of freely flow.
Did that happen for you in school too?
Yeah, same thing.
Because you have how many degrees?
Just a bachelor's now. I have associates and a bachelor's now.
And then you're going for a master's?
I was going for a master's degree, but I just got hit with a bunch of entrepreneurial opportunities, and that's what I went to school for.
Yeah.
That I actually put my master's degree on hold. And I'm not dogging formal education.
Right.
It's just that as an entrepreneur, you're only given these opportunities once in a lifetime, so it's either going to come or go. And if I don't capitalize it right now, it's going to go. Whereas education, it's there,
So what do you, with your talks, let's say,
right?
What is your target audience? What message are you trying to get across?
So, I mean, for the speaking portion of what I do, I speak to athletes. So right now I'm speaking with the Challenge Athletes Foundation. I'm on their speaking circuit. I also speak for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I really want to hone in on corporate businesses, and speak more on team building, adversity, perseverance, mental mindset, mental toughness, leadership, all those types of things. You know what I mean?
It. In the corporate world.
In the corporate world, exactly, right? Because that's what they need. It's all about human capital, right?
Right.
a business is only as good, or an organization is only as good as the people that run it.
Right.
So I don't care if you're like the best CEO of a company. It doesn't matter, because it trickles down to the people that are actually running the business, your managers, or your sales team, your marketing team, all those people. And you'll see these different models like Costco or Salesforce, or these places that you hear their culture is great and they love working. They give their employees that sense of completeness.
Yeah.
They're doing all the training that I'm talking about. So yeah, that's my target audience. I also really like to speak to the youth. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of youth out there and young adults that are thinking that their life is pretty much over.
They're easily discouraged.
Yeah.
And they really haven't been through real life adversity.
Right.
And then they're already discouraged. It's not like they've lost their sight,
Yeah.
It could be the littlest thing that can like throw some, even not just kids, but definitely with this society, with like the social media world, is just like instantly like, I'm not good enough.
Right.
And nothing's even happened. They're just looking on their phone.
And the thing is, in social media, no one's going to put their worst day on there.
Yeah.
Nobody is. So you have
talk
this,
about that all the time.
Yeah. You have this whole...
No one puts fail lifts on there. They only do PRs.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'll be pumped up, and I'm sure you see it on the feed. If I don't do well in a tournament, I'm not posting anything. But when I win it, you're going to see that shiny gold medal. You know what I mean?
You're going to see some...
But I'll do maybe a thank you for the recovery team, the support, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
Just shot out, but you never see anything in it. I always get crap from my friends like, you do so well, huh? Like, how'd you know?
I always know.
Yeah.
I'll see it because he comes in right before his weigh-ins or some shit, and if I don't see I took first or something or second, I'm like, uh-oh. But he just went up a belt level, a whole nother competition level.
Dude, it is a whole new beast.
What are some of your accomplishments in let's say your best accomplishments
I would say
thus far?
Right now, so for judo, I was part of the 2015 Pan American Games. I was a 73 kilo guy there, and I took gold at the President's Cup.
Oh, geez.
In Dallas, the Dallas Invitational over there.
Yeah.
I took. I'm trying to think of my other judos. I took second at nationals, at Winter Nationals. But the funny thing is, my sensei.
Yeah.
He wanted to compete, so he was actually in my bracket. And
that's weird.
And I had to play him in the finals, and I was like, well, he could kick my ass, anyways. But
but I let him.
I let him win.
If he beat me, then, or if I beat him, then
he's like, you can have the keys to the door.
exactly. So that was most of my judo career.
And judo, is that was that all like everyone, or is that like all the blind people? Or
so the when I said para, that's with vision impaired blind people, but
so
the other
judo's
ones
mainly
was sighted. Yeah.
Oh, so you did both?
Yeah, I did both.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I did both. And then so for jiu-jitsu, my most, I guess the highest awards or achievements that I'm known for are my 3 world championships through the Sport Jiu-Jitsu International Federation. That was in 2013, and then back-to-back 2016, 2017, and that was against sighted athletes, not blind athletes.
And that was
and that's in jiu-jitsu.
That blue belt, purple belt,
white, purple.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gangster.
And then,
because now we jumped to brown.
I went to brown. The only thing I won in brown was the Golden State San Diego Open.
Mm-hmm.
And